Now, with today being Valentine's Day, people are celebrating love all over the world. And despite being in the thick of Carnival, we are no exception. But what does love truly mean? To love someone, to love yourself, and how can we express love in a meaningful way? Well, today we're going to be talking to relationship coach and life strategist, Mr. Jarrell Peters. With over 10 years of mentoring and coaching experience, Jarrell now works with high-end achievers, giving them the clarity and direction needed to pursue their dreams. Jarrell, good morning.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, and happy Valentine's Day to you. I love that shiny colors as well. Love it.
I'm matching with you. Kins to you.
So, Jarrell, so I just gave a little brief overview of who you are and that sort of thing, but I know off air you were also saying you're a lawyer.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, nice. How many years experience?
3 years call. I was one of the first COVID calls. I did it online.
Oh, wow.
The bar calls.
Yes,
so, yeah.
yes, nice. So then how do you marry that into, being a life coach and a relationship expert, that sort of thing?
Well, being a lawyer, you have to pay attention to details. And when you're listening to clients, you have to be able to read between your lines, because sometimes they may not be able to always bring up points that may be relevant to the issue at hand.
Right.
So I have to be able to listen, ascertain what it is that is necessary, what is important, and then just marry the facts together and be like, okay, this is the next step I think you should take. And law is the same thing.
Yeah. How did you get on this track to helping people in their relationships and helping them to understand what love means?
Oh, well, I didn't always start in the direction of love. I always was focusing on relationships, because even as a young child, I was really interested in how relationships would have an impact on people. And then as I grew older, I realized how important relationship was to our everyday lives.
Now, when you say relationships, you're talking platonic and otherwise.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Right? So relationships are absolutely important. They are the cornerstone to every single thing that we do. Even we're having a relationship right now. So in that context, when I realized how important it was, I became very passionate. And I just dug into it deeper and deeper, reading a lot more. I found myself studying it more than law at certain points. So it just became something that was very natural to me.
Yeah. I feel as well like with love, everybody has their own definition of it. How would you define it, and how would you even encourage people to express love?
Well, that's a great question. So everyone have their own definition of love. For instance, love for me may be, making a bowl of popcorn and watching a movie. Love for someone else maybe just like be going to the beach. So we all have our idea of what love looks like. But I think the main principle of love is just acceptance. Accepting yourself for who you are, accepting yourself for who you are not. So once that basic tenet of acceptance is there, you have love. There are many other principles. Christians say that love is kind, love is not boastful, isn't envious. Those are all tenets of love as well. But the main thing that is there is acceptance.
Is there any merit to the love languages? So, for example, you will see those tests online where they tell you love language is like a physical touch or something else. Is that merit? Is there merit to that?
100%. So there are 5 love languages. There is gifts, quality time, words of affirmation. Right. There is also there's 2 more.
I think one is physical touch.
Physical touch.
And there's one more.
Quality time.
Yeah.
Right? So you have those love languages, and it's important that we recognize our partners or whoever it is, or friends, their love language.
Yeah.
Because we might be giving love in a particular way, but they may only receive it in a particular way. For instance, I may receive love as accepting gifts, and someone else may give love in perhaps words of affirmation. Now, it's not to say that receiving gifts is better than words of affirmation, but it's just how I'm built. It's just how that person is individually designed. So we have to be able to give love in a way that that person receives it.
And
so that
how
there's
do
a
we
connection.
get there? Is it that we need to have a conversation with that person to find out exactly what their love language is, exactly what sort of things they prefer?
Yeah, all relationships are built with time.
Yeah.
So the time you spend with someone is the time that you begin to understand their quirks. What is it that makes them them? And just to allow yourself to see them as an individual, because you want to be able to spend time with that person and really get to know them for who they are.
Yeah.
So understanding their love language would be a part of that.
Now, there's a saying that you can't love someone unless you love yourself, and I also wanted to get your opinion on that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a huge tenant of that, believer of that. So it's really impossible to give someone something you don't have. You need to be able to have that inside of you. So learning to love yourself, it's self-love. It's being able to sit with yourself every single day, see the parts of you that maybe you love, that you don't like, and just be able to, as I said before, appreciate everything for what it is. And if you are able to sit in that love, in that love that you have for yourself, then you're able to do the same for someone else, because every single relationship is a mirror of who you are. So everyone that comes to you, you're going to see an aspect of yourself in them, and it's important for you to demonstrate that love to yourself first and then to that person or whoever it is. Love should always be an overflow of the love you have for yourself.
Now, I know that there is also a time where people show that sort of outpouring of love. So, for example, today is Valentine's Day. A lot of people are going to be exchanging gifts.
Yeah.
We also see it happening as well with birthdays, with Christmas, that sort of thing. But how do we move from just celebrating on a season and moving towards celebrating on a consistent basis, or giving love or showing love on a consistent basis?
Well, I think we have to, first and foremost, recognize that there are specific days where we demonstrate love a lot more than often. And when it comes to that, we have to understand that the people in our lives, that they deserve a lot more than simple just gestures on those specific days. We need to be able to demonstrate it as often as possible, and how in the way that they want it. Again, that's where the love languages come in. So I do think it's important in that regard to be able to develop a relationship with them, to understand exactly how it is they want love, how it is that they receive love. Understand their quirks, understand exactly what it is that makes them them, as I said, and just be able to be present for them, to show up for them. Ask them how it is you want me to show up for you, what it is you need from me. And these are questions sometimes we don't ask enough of people, especially in the Caribbean, where we tend to be a little bit hard-lipped when it comes to showing affection. So I think those are the steps that we need to take, really, to demonstrate love in that capacity for them to understand.
Yeah. And now that we have love in the midst of Carnival, how can we ensure that we still have that balance where we're having fun, we're enjoying the season, but we're not forgetting our loved ones? And it doesn't always have to be your partner, but it could be your friends, it could be, you know, people in your circle. So how do we ensure that we still let those people know that we care and that the love is still there?
Okay, well, let's put it in context of Carnival, right? And going back to what I said earlier about love languages. So let's say that your love language is quality time. I would probably say, you know what, if your love language is quality time, let's go to a fete together. Or let's say if your love language is words of affirmation, babe, you look so good in that outfit right now. You go into that fete. So you take their love language and you marry it, for instance, to something during the Carnival season. It's a great way to connect with someone.
But Jarrell, you are saying that based on the fact that the person loves Carnival. But what about the ones who refrain from it, right?
Tobago, let's go to Tobago, babe, quality time. Let's book a ticket and go to Tobago.
Right.
Or, babe, let's go in the room and let's read the latest book. I don't know what book perhaps they're interested in.
But of course, based on their love language.
Correct, Netflix, whatever it is. So you're able to marry their interests with their love language. And that's the important thing. And that's where it comes with, you know that person and you know exactly what it is that they want, they need, and you're able to marry it to what it is they want.
Yeah. I just want one piece of advice before you go that you can tell to couples, you can tell to friends, just to ensure that they keep their love consistent, as we've been saying throughout the year.
Show up for them. I think the most important thing when it comes to love is to show up for people. We live in a time where a lot of people feel alone. I remember reading in a study in England where a lot of older folks, the government is trying to create a plan in order for them to not feel alone, because that's their number one complaint, just being alone. So for your loved one, especially in these times where it's difficult, just show up for them, send a text, hit them a message and say, hey, what's up? Let's go do something. Just show up for them in the way that they will be able to appreciate and love it. And I think when we're able to do that, and with not even just our friends, but just maybe a co-worker, you don't know what people are leaving home and coming to work with.
Yeah.
You know, things are heavy. Sometimes people, work is the only escape they have. So just showing up for people, exchanging a kind smile. When I came in this morning, I really liked how this place was run. Everyone said good morning to me. Everyone smiled. Someone offered. Those are the things that makes people day.
Yeah, and I think we're going to end it there. And imagine we come in early in the morning, huh? So we still give you a smile. But Jarrell, let me thank you so much for joining us this morning, especially on Valentine's Day, as we're discussing love in the midst of Carnival. And I know that our viewers are going to take everything that you just told us and really kind of inculcate it and try to express it in their relationship. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And that was Mr. Jarrell Peters. He is a relationship coach and a life strategist, just giving us some tips on how we can keep the love alive on a consistent basis. But you don't want to go anywhere. We're going to take a break. But when we come back, we have Shaggy. Yes, Shaggy is going to be joining us in studio. So stay tuned.
I don't want to waste your time. Let me tell you about something.